Hello, welcome back to Let's Play the Journeyman Project 3 Legacy of Time. As today, we uncovered the Sita secret and we'll also be finishing the game. So we're going to go back to the temple here. Oh, Arthur's got something to say.
The Lamas said that the first Sita built the temple to teach the monks about the Wheel of Life. He could have placed the test of the Sita somewhere within the temple.
Yes, and he did. And we already started it. So, we're going to go back down. And we are going to continue on the Wheel of Life. All right, that should be enough. And we're gonna reread this. Okay, I am pretty sure I had my had the question mark on my cursor.
The inscriptions speak of the path of Sita Biwawa. Denied nirvana by pride, the one Sita Biwawa found himself in the realm of the gods, complacent in their heavenly heights. Only with the Buddha's song-filled voice did he escape into the next realm, the battlefields of the Ashurus Titans.
Well, that happens to be the next marble we have in our inventory. And there's no inscriptions on here, so we'll just deposit the marble.
The Titans know nothing more than to fight the gods for their glittering realm and fight amongst themselves. Biwawa found himself caught within the frenzy until he followed the light of Buddha's flaming sword. The Titans cowered before it as he escaped and entered the kingdom of animals.
Okay, so that's why I kept getting confused. They're the Ashurus Titans, because I thought they were called Titans, and then they kept being called the Ashurus. But okay, so either or works. Once again, no inscriptions, but we have the animal realm here, so let's pull that marble out and drop it in there. And you can see once again they're giving you yet another hint of the if like you get to this point and you're stumped, you can see the object of salvation is a book. I think the Ashurus Titan one had a sword, for example. The god one had a lute.
In his new form, he hunted with animal cunning, forgetting all of Buddha's teachings. But something inside him stirred when Buddha appeared before him with the Book of Knowledge, and he learned once more. He escaped, but found himself within the bowels of hell. Biwawa is an interesting name for a Sita. It roughly means bad man. I suppose the name foreshadowed his ultimate indiscretion with pride. Here's another tale I heard of Biwawa. Well, he's bad, a Biwawa, a baddest man in Shangri-La, wiser than an Obi-Wan, a meaner than a Genghis Khan.
And here we can see the Hell's Buddha is holding a flame, once again giving us a clue if you were having trouble with the puzzle.
Biwawa heard the howls of the damned echoing the very hatred they were punished for. Terrible flame licked all around him by day. By night he shivered in the hells of cold. Then the Buddha showed him the purifying fire that cleansed his sin, sending him traveling again to the realm of Praetus.
I do like seeing how far up we are as we traverse this. So here, it's a little hard for me to tell. Maybe it'll look better once it's upscaled, but I believe there's a piece of fruit in that bowl.
Then he found himself among the Praetus, tortured creatures tantalized by all things material. Biwawa had never felt such hunger until the Buddha descended again and let him taste the spiritual fruit. And Biwawa felt want no more. Buddha finally bade him to return to the human realm.
And here you can see, we can finally see where the stairs start. And we are almost at the top of the temple. And once again, we have the alms bowl. So let's pop this in. Come on. Well. There we go. Oh, I didn't see her other hand. Okay. Or his other hand, I should say.
Humbly, Biwawa would have to begin the path anew to regain his former peace. He would need to overcome the vice of pride, the pride that made him think that he was better than others. So his atonement would only end by helping another. Then, the Sita could be again.
Want to step back a little? Okay. Well, this is just straight up alien technology at this point. With the technology they have in the modern day, in Gage's time, they could probably replicate something like this with anti-grav and fields and whatnot. But yeah, this would be straight up magic to the people this time. Okay, so we got two things to read.
There are inscriptions that surround the images of this mural. I'll translate as closely as I can. The infinite Buddha came to our monastery long ago with the knowledge of 3 secrets: life, time, and matter. He spoke of the true path, a way to live by his virtues so that we could also share in his perfection. And he taught the Siddhas of matter, that everything in the universe was composed of one energy that could be perceived, understood, and controlled.
Okay. So again, we kind of got hints that they left the secret with the other 2 time zones if somehow you managed to do this zone first. Let's hear Arthur's thoughts.
This mural must be displaying the Siddhas, using their power over the elements to move through mountains and transmute matter. That mural shows the Siddha transforming the lotus into another form. Nice. Fine. More work. Now watch Arthur transform from simply annoyed to pretty bloody angry. I am not shouting! Come to think of it, I swear I've seen that man in the mural before. Do you think that Michael Jackson is really that old?
Oh man, I think this might have been before the Michael Jackson trials when this game was made, so yeah.
From these writings, it's apparent that the Sosequi entrusted the power of transmutation with the monks of this monastery. Perhaps the Sosequi felt that these monks had the focus and the maturity to handle such power. The other 2 symbols represent time and life. The Sosequi must have trusted the people of Atlantis and El Dorado with those powers for a purpose.
And I guess we don't get to actually read the inscription on that one. We just get Arthur's comment. So let's take... Oh.
My instincts say that this lotus is the artifact we're looking for, but previous experience says that this thing should be pyramid-shaped. Wait, if this is the artifact we're looking for, shouldn't it be shaped like a pyramid? Shouldn't we have found it earlier? Shouldn't you have been smarter or taller or just plain better? And damn it, Gage, shouldn't we be married by now? I mean, people are starting to talk. Oh yeah, sorry, right. Anyway, the artifact is the wrong shape.
So let's take that. And we can see the Lotus. Object analysis item Lotus. Date found 14th of April 1219 AD. Location Himalayan Mountains. A unique lotus-shaped relic of unparalleled craftsmanship. This piece is composed of gold, precious jewels, and several unidentifiable materials. Well, that would certainly indicate it's alien in origin. And here, let us look through the Sita's eyes. And we see the pilgrim that we first encountered here.
For some reason, the eye lens was exactly aligned to look across the ravine and see the pilgrim. Gage, it all makes sense. The pilgrim on the road is the Sita. He's finally returned to the human realm after escaping all the other realms. He must have the power to transform this lotus for us. Let's cross the ravine and ask him to help us. Oh, you already figured that out, huh? Sure, Gage.
Quite a jump there, but he's not wrong. So we will take the Lotus to him. And there's some interesting points to be made about the comments about how the Buddha came and taught them everything, and how all matter in the universe is made up of one energy. I think this kind of plays into some of what we see with the Cerulans in the lore, because in Buried in Time, if you remember back to those database entries, they said that the Cerulans had like a unique ability to kind of sense space-time to a degree. And I think, and we can also see that in the first game, where they still came to Earth, and they're like, well, we'll return when you're ready. You know, you get the sense that they knew something was off. Earth should have been ready by now, but they weren't for some reason. And I think this will play into that, or does play into it. We'll see, we'll understand a little more at the end of the game what I'm going for, but just keep that in mind.
The architecture in this building is beautiful. It appears to be a temple of worship or meditation.
Yes, it is, Arthur. I don't know why you didn't give me that before, but... Alright. So let's see if we can get some help from the pilgrim. And I do love this story here, you know, how we're basically helping this guy find redemption. It also implies that perhaps there's some truth to the tale of the Buddha. I'm not sure about this wheel of life thing, and maybe not even reincarnation, because again, that's more spiritual, and we're dealing with aliens. But I think it could be a metaphor, and how he was perhaps exiled or cast out, and how he was wandering the earth, and like these are kind of the lives he took on. You know, he took on a life of a rich person who cared not for anything but indulgence. And then he was reminded, oh, Buddha. You know, he gave up his life with the gods, and then somehow fell into mercenary work maybe, and cared only for fighting, until he once again heard the call of the Buddha. And then, you know, he went to Hells after that, where, you know, maybe he was captured and tortured and like he just couldn't think of anything else. And then finally the war was over and he heard the call of the Buddha, and then was basically kind of let go into the wilderness and had to survive until he heard the call of the Buddha. And then finally, you know, gets back to civilization, and he'd been barely surviving for so long that he just wanted food, you know, wanted everything that he had been missing, until he heard the call of the Buddha. And then that finally came full circle, brought him back to the human realm, so to speak, where he was once again able to work on spiritual enlightenment. At least that's my theory. Hello there.
You have nearly completed the true path. Now, for the final step, You must shed all the trappings and illusions that surround you.
Yeah. What he wants you to do is to drop your disguise, which is a very counterintuitive thing because the whole game's like, no, 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 you got to keep your disguise up. But yeah, somehow he knows what we've gone through. And this actually explains why he, like, if you notice, he always reacted to us the same as if he had already talked to us after the first time, no matter which guys we used. And that's because he's been seeing us as who we are this whole time. Somehow the understanding given to him by the Lotus, or by the spiritual teachings that the Sosequi left them, allows him to see through illusions like our holographic disguise. So he knows who we are. And as you can see, the game lets you now finally change form.
I've dropped my guise and have completed the path. Can you transform this for me?
You have completed the path, traveler. You are indeed worthy.
Good thing the Buddha doesn't have any rules about stealing, apparently, because we had to commit a lot of thievery to get to this point. And trickery.
You have journeyed far, traveler, and you have completed the path by honoring the ancient virtues. And you have saved my soul by allowing me to help another. I am on a new path now. I am eternally grateful. I wish you peace, traveler, and success.
I have it! I found the third artifact. You're just in time, Gage. The Gothalas, they just entered Earth's orbit. It won't be long before they locate the TSA.
Receiving a high-priority communication from the Sorelan cruiser Aquila.
We have felt a great disturbance from the TSA. You have the legacy. If we have sensed it, believe that the Quotha lost know as well. We are sending Sorelan sentinels to assist you.
The Gothalas have breached the outer shielding. All security teams prepared to intercept. I say again, the Gothalas have breached the outer
Gage?
shielding.
Before everything gets even more chaotic, I just wanted to say, well, be careful.
Gage, the three artifacts are projecting some kind of image. I recognize some of the elements. Remember the Sosequi symbol that the Sorelan ambassador showed us?
This pendant is an ancient Sosequi relic that our archaeologists discovered on another planet. We believe this symbol is a Sosequi marking that represents their legacy. The true legacy might also bear this mark.
I think we need to create that symbol by manipulating these artifacts.
And there are some rules to this. You can kind of see it where there's more than two symbols, they cancel each other out. I'm not sure if that's the case if there's three, if they still all just cancel out, or if that allows one to shine through. But there are multiple puzzles to this, and you have as much time as you want to complete it, in keeping with the rest of the game. There's no deaths here. The leading Sorelan elements, the human defense forces, and whatever forces that the symbiotry of peaceful beings might have been able to get in before the Quafflelas Armada arrive will hold them off exactly long enough for you to finish this puzzle.
If I'm not mistaken, each artifact is projecting its forward face to create that central image. That Sosequi symbol must have a special meaning. If I were taking a Rorschach inkblot test, I would say it looks like a butterfly. Interpreted another way, it could possibly represent the struggle for the legacy. Notice the claw-like hands grasping for the 3 pyramid objects? Those could represent 3 races, all grasping for the powers of the legacy.
And there certainly are right now. You have the Sorolans and Quaffala, who have been fighting over it for millennia. And then you have humans who, we didn't even know this existed because it was very well hidden. Only 3 cities knew it even existed. They were all destroyed, and now we're caught in the middle. And we're only going for it because they are, as an act of self-preservation.
Looks like each of the faces are unique, and with 3 pyramid-shaped objects, each with 4 faces, carry the 1, there are exactly 1,728 possible combinations. I assume there's at least one combination in there that will solve whatever test this is. Or this thing is unsolvable and we go absolutely drooling mad trying. Let's keep turning these pieces to see if there is some relationship that could help us.
There are, and like I said, there are multiple solutions, and brute forcing works quite well, because honestly, that's really the only way I've ever done this. Ooh. Yeah, you can turn them off, too, which I suppose could be useful if you end up with, lets you see what you might want to change, for example. Like, this one has a lot.
Hang on, Gage. The face on the lower left artifact looks like it has a lot of elements. That looks like a correct piece. Let's keep that side facing us and concentrate on turning the other 2 artifacts.
Yeah.
When you touch the front face of one of the artifacts, it stops projecting its image into the center. That could be extremely helpful. By turning off a piece, you can see how it affects the central image. Now I understand how the image is being generated. The central image is a composite of all 3 artifact faces. It looks like the overlapping regions between any 2 pieces cancel each other out.
All right, so at this point we see we want to... there we go. Actually, I think this one might be... no. That's not what I want. There we go. There we go. So now... we lose that, which is unfortunate, but...
I think the most important concept for these artifacts is that 2 overlapping areas cancel each other out. But if a 3rd artifact also has an element within the same region, then that shape will appear in the central image.
Okay, so that is the case.
This alien technology is difficult, Gage, but let's not give up. I think we're pretty close. I'm sure our correct piece is part of the solution for this test. Our goal here is to create the Sosequi symbol, but the proper combination may not necessarily be direct. It may require you to take advantage of that region overlapping rule.
So that's pretty close.
We need to look at the pieces from a different angle. When 2 pieces overlap, they cancel out, but when there is a 3rd element in that same region, it appears in the center image. I believe the answer lies in that concept. Keep our correct piece facing us while manipulating the other sides. You want to look for pieces that overlap, but have the net result of projecting the proper symbol.
See, we are so close here.
Okay, Gage, it looks like you're having trouble with this puzzle.
No, we
I
aren't.
think I have an
Arthur.
idea for a solution. If you want more explicit help, touch my light bulb and we'll solve this together.
We are so close. Okay. So we have that. So at this point, we would just need one triangle. No. So we got that. Let's rotate that one. Nope, that was not as effective as I hoped. Okay, so in this case, oh, his hint disappeared, which tells me I must have had one of the, like, I'm pretty sure that's got to be it.
You have all the correct faces showing, Gage. Now all you have to do is position them in the proper orientation.
Oh, okay. That's what his hint was for.
The last will finally claim our legacy.
The legacy was meant for all races.
Agent Blackwood! Quickly, give us the legacy. The Coastal Ops will destroy us all if they claim it.
The lonely killers have no right to our legacy.
Can't you see the cycle is happening again? Your two races are battling each other over something that's supposed to bring peace. I won't let you turn this place into another battleground. Know that the Sosequi have long since transcended your universe. Our legacy has waited thousands of years for its proper heir. It contains the sum of our wisdom. It is the collective essence of what we were, and what we are, and what we will be. This knowledge must be tempered with maturity. Its secrets will be shared with the many races around the galaxy, but only when they are ready for such an awesome responsibility. Until that time, the legacy will be safeguarded by beings who have already demonstrated their worth, wielding the disciplines of time, matter, and life.
Humans will claim their birthright and become the stewards of the Sosequi Legacy. They will share its knowledge with the galaxy when the other races have proven their worthiness.
We understand the elders, and we will obey.
A great fate lurks in the future of humankind. Elliot told me that often. You must be Gage Blackwood.
I am. Your service was very touching, Reverend. You wanted to see me?
Yes. Throughout his long life, Elliot always believed that it was his duty to guide humanity toward a destiny. But 10 years ago, when the Sorolans came to invite us into the Symbiotry, he misjudged and insisted that they had come to conquer. Blinded by his zeal to protect Earth, he acted rashly.
I was imprisoned on Vega Thalon, yes, I know. I put him there.
Gage, when you came to see Elliot, prison had already eroded his faith in humanity and his will to live. But he asked me to tell you that you were not responsible for his death. A great time is coming in our history, he said, and he believed that you would help to usher it in. That thought comforted Elliot in his last moments. I want to thank you for coming, Gage.
Thank you, Reverend.
He was a great man once. You know, his death really wasn't your fault. Gage, I wanted to thank you. I didn't expect to see you at my hearing, but because of your testimony, they commuted my sentence.
You redeemed yourself. I only spoke the truth.
Yeah, but you put your reputation on the line after everything I did to you.
It's all in the past, Michelle. We both know we can't change the past.
Have you decided whether you're going to accept the Symbiotry's offer?
No, I haven't. I told them I needed more time.
Retirement's not your style, Gage. Besides, I think your ego would swell up too much if I had to call you Mr. Ambassador to the Quoth the Lost, sir.
Arthur?
Remember, Commissioner Jack wanted you at the ceremony early.
Why did I agree to that?
Why? Because you saved the world again! All by yourself, with absolutely no help from your friends.
All right. Point taken. I won't forget to mention you.
Oh, thank you, kind sir. And when will this magnanimous mention occur? After dessert or during the cab ride home?
I couldn't have done anything without you.
Even though Genghis Khan would make a big splash at our reception, I need to assume a more formal chameleon guise. Something macho. Gage, do we have time to jump back and meet Dick Clark?
Who?
Never mind. He'll probably be at the party.
All right, so there's actually one more thing coming up in a little bit once the main credits. So I'm going to save my dissertation until that happens. But Arthur's going to sing us a little song. But boy, can I not wait to talk, because I love this series so much. To the point where this will probably be one of the few game series that I'll actually replay. There won't be many, but this is one of them because, again, I just love it so much. And I do like that we get actual credits now. In the other games, you kind of just had, well, there were kind of credits in the Journeyman Project Turbo. I can't remember Pegasus Prime so much, but I do know both, at least Turbo, or was it Pegasus Prime? I can't remember either, but I know there were at least two games that kind of had the Buried in Time style credits where it was like a menu that you access from the main menu, and that it drops you off there after the game is over. But here, yeah, we actually get credits. I don't think it. They might still have that. I guess we'll find out together, because it has been many years since I have played Legacy of Time. Oh, and here's Arthur's song.
Gage, your theme music is lovely, but I think it's about time we played a little something for the kids. 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Dun 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 dun. Arthur, dun dun dun. They called him Arthur, dun 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 dun. He was an artificial intelligence that was cool. Arthur, dun dun dun. They called him Arthur, dun dun. They thought that his singing was annoying, but he was no fool. Artificial as soap, artificial as rope, artificial, he will find the love that is the one for Arthur's the lonely one. Arthur.
Okay, we do get something of a menu here. So you can see Red Orb Entertainment, who published this game. Presto Studios, which developed it. They have multiple pages, so let's not forget them. Tommy Yoon is actually one of the big creators of this whole series, and he's still active on like social media and stuff. So if you join the right groups, you can actually talk to him and ask him questions, and sometimes he'll even respond. Here we have more of their staff. The talent, which is their cinematic actors and such. Graham Jarvis, rest his soul. He was on Star Trek, actually, too. I think he played, there was at least one role he played, possibly a second. I know for sure... Actually, no, that wasn't him. I think that was a different... I know he played at least one role on Star Trek. Trying to see if there's any other names I recognize, but other than people that were in Buried in Time, for example, and Pegasus Prime, not really. And then Matt Weinhold is actually a comedian, and you can go and see his videos of his work on YouTube. Special thanks. We have Presto Studios. Trying to see where they have. I like how they even credited him with writing additional scripting for Arthur, because he did do most of Arthur's jokes, I believe, or at least a good chunk of them. Video production crew. Okay, so that biosuit fabrication. Oh yeah, because they actually, you know, make the suits for these, you know, that they wear. So like the chameleon suit, the suits in Buried in Time, and I believe at least the chameleon suit is in a museum somewhere. Okay, where is... Why am I not seeing it? Where is the sound? Modeler, producer, writer, creative director, art director, artist. So I want to see who did the here. Jamie Scott, composer and sound design. Okay, so apparently, shoot, what's his name? Oh, why can I not remember his name? But he worked on, I believe, Journeyman, Project Turbo, Pegasus Time, and Buried in Time. I'm going to look it up right now because I want to say it's Gene something. No, Bob Stewart. I don't know why I was thinking Gene, but Bob Stewart worked on... No, there was another person. Bob Stewart did work on Buried in Time, but I know there's another person that worked on it. Where is Pegasus Prime? Was it just Bob Stewart? Maybe. No, it was Gino. A Fond Remembrance, yeah, because that was the Environ ad in Buried in Time. Let's see. I know he did like a lot. Gino Andrews, that's what it was. He did a lot of work on Buried in Time. He was the composer, sound, and visual artist for Journeyman. I don't know about visual, but he did composition and sound for the Journeyman project series. I guess he must not have worked on 3, but I know, just looking around, I see Gino Andrews. He did have a website. I'm actually not seeing it. He has a LinkedIn page that's probably him. Apparently there's another actor called Gino Andrews, which I don't think is the same one. Oh, maybe it is, as I see they have a credit for Johnny Eagle in Pegasus Prime. Here we go, official site. No, it is the same one. Okay. But yeah, so he worked on, oh, he shows another, looks like he worked on another game, but it's VOL or something like that. But he did a lot of stuff, and obviously they loved him since they put an ad for his music in the game. But now he, apparently he's gotten into writing. And he's a commercial director, writer, and editor now, and was a filmmaker for a time. And then maybe Bob Stewart is the one I'm thinking of. Is that a different Bob Stewart or the same Bob Stewart? I think that might be. Apparently there's a jazz musician by the name of Bob Stewart, and obviously there's... Wait. Okay, I gotta go back to... Did I misremember the name? No, it's Bob Stewart. There, that looks like a video game. Oh, that's funny. But one of them was still doing... I might have been Gino Andrews. Someone was doing music for a while after... at least when I checked like 10, 15 years ago. Oh, he had died apparently in 2017. Okay, that's unfortunate. But yeah, some of these people are still active in the industry as a whole. But no, I love this game series so much, which is why... oh, I suppose if you wanted to save there just to see it again. Yeah, apparently it makes a save right when you finish the puzzle. Oh, we don't have any of the cinematics unlocked. That's interesting. Okay, but yeah, I love this whole series so much. So this game does so much, I'm going to probably forget half the things I want to say, and I'll think of them tonight when I'm trying to go to bed. But we come full circle for both Elliot Sinclair and Agent 3. You know, they both get their redemption stories. You know, Agent 3 helped us. You know, she helped find these cities. She gave us essentially the information we needed to find these artifacts and help translate them. and was very supportive of us, despite what the events varied in time. And even Elliot Sinclair, like, he realized, oh shit, Gage is, you know, basically the best of humanity, you know, and he must, in his final moments, I'm wondering if he perhaps connected a few dots from his past as to maybe why things didn't work out, and you know, with his escape plan. And then, you know, with the Quaffala coming, he's like, oh shit, that must have been Gage from the future getting the artifacts, possibly. And maybe that's why he saw that Gage was going to be the future, so to speak. And I mean, he is, other than his kleptomania, which, I mean, every adventure protagonist has, but he is truly the best of humanity. You know, in that we are able to do all these puzzles in all the time zones that require, you know, enlightenment, essentially, spiritual enlightenment. We are able to do all those, and that's the only reason we are even able to commune, I think, with the artifact. There are some outstanding questions. I think he does eventually take the role of ambassador. Presto Studios was starting pre-production on a fourth Journeyman project game, but unfortunately that was canceled in its early stages, and with the shuttering of Presto Studios, which I think was why it was canceled, we'll probably never see it, and I don't even know if they had finished the script or anything that they could have released. All I remember is a tagline I saw back when they used to have a website, way back when I was a kid. Something about how an old enemy is coming back for revenge, and Gage and Arthur are the only ones who can save time once again. And if I remember correctly, which maybe I don't, but if I remember correctly, there was kind of like imagery of a jungle, I think, kind of like the prehistoric environment in Pegasus Prime. So my theory on that is, obviously, Elliot Sinclair kind of came full circle. You know, he learned, obviously, the Roland's blowing up his city and the Quaffala blowing up his city, or helping to, basically gave him xenophobia, or triggered that in him. And that's why he lashed out at the Sorolans when they came, because he had been in Atlantis. He saw what they did, what they and the Quaffala did, and he thought they were coming back to do the same. It's kind of hard to blame him for that. But, you know, now, after, you know, we had 10, 20 years of peace, he saw they were coming to help us. Well, this massive invasion fleet comes, and, you know, he sees Gage as the best hope. So I think he finally got over that. But, yeah, he's kind of out of the picture for an old rival. And I'm making the assumption here that it's someone we've had to deal with previously. Likewise, Agent 3 has also kind of come full circle. She's gone through her redemption arc. She was also kind of driven by fear, much like Elliot Sinclair, but for a different reason. She thought humanity would misuse time travel as a weapon of war, essentially, kind of driven by how all our research missions were to very bloody battles and outright atrocities in Earth history. And so, you know, that's why she initially wanted to proliferate the technology, figuring the best, like, she can't take it away from us, which would probably have been the best solution in her eyes. But the next best solution is make sure everyone has it, so that way no one wants to use it, like nuclear warfare, which probably would have been very familiar to her, either with her current assigned research sites or with other ones she had been assigned, assuming they were also related to warfare and massacres and such. So that was kind of her motivation, and now we've proven, I mean, humanity was at stake here, which is why she gave herself up to begin with. She kind of figured that. And we proved we weren't using time travel maliciously during this crisis. We could have gone back and, maybe squashed the first bunch of cells that would become the Quaffala and the Sorolans and avoided all of this mess. But no, we didn't do that. We used it responsibly, even when the temptation could have been very great to misuse it. Perhaps at its greatest, if our whole species' existence was on the line, which it very well could have been. An alternate scenario I'm kind of envisioning is maybe where, I think Earth would be smart enough to rig up the TSA and whatever supporting research labs to self-destruct on demand to make sure this technology doesn't fall into the wrong hands. So it's kind of brave and bold and stupid of the Quaffala to just come in here with a massive fleet and just assume that they'll take it when we can blow it up and then boom, you got nothing. Your whole, 1,000 years or whatever in exile was for nothing. And that probably would have just kicked off a war. I could see them genociding us in retaliation. So humanity could have been made extinct or very near extinct. I'm sure the Sorolans and Quaffala and the symbiote of peaceful beings would all have taken heavy casualties in the ensuing war. And it certainly probably would have made the rest, any survivors of humanity, as xenophobic as Elliot Sinclair. Or at least partially. I mean, granted, we do have the Sorolans and the symbiote of peaceful beings helping us. But still, with their failure to protect us, that could have gone badly. So, that's kind of like the worst case scenario there. But we didn't use the technology. We used it basically as well as we could have under the circumstances, as minimally as we could. And we got a peaceful ending. Everyone's happy, except for maybe the crew of that space station they blew up. But I'm sure they'll, now that they've settled down, I'm sure they'll offer compensation of some sort for that. Not that you can replace lives with simple hard currency, but, maybe they'll help us somehow. So, yeah. I think that completes Michelle's redemption arc. And so she, who might have been classified as an enemy, isn't going to be looking for revenge. So really, of all the people and aliens that we've dealt with, that really only leaves the, oh crap, what's her name? Let me look that up real quick. The Kryn, right. So that really only leaves the Kryn, who wanted to get time travel to basically conquer the universe because they wanted to genetically modify their ancient selves so that way they didn't have to wait for, the symbiote to stumble on them to give them robotic limbs to use technology and, give them appendages and stuff. So they were going to use time travel technology, as you remember, to basically give them limbs and take over the galaxy at an early stage. Now, they were supposed to have been stripped of technology and expelled from the symbiote tree, but how far that stripping goes, I don't know. I don't know if they took literally everything, including their robotic limbs or whatnot, but that's going to be a whole race of very angry people. So I suspect our menace would have been for, in Journeyman Project 4, would have been the Kryn, who probably, maybe they found the Sosequi artifact somewhere else. This Roland Bastard mentioned there have been a couple Sosequi dig sites across the galaxy where they found things. So maybe they would have found one and been able to derive time travel from that. Maybe they would have put all their energy into it and developed it independently. But I suspect stopping the Kryn would have been the main plot of 4. Although it would have been a nice side plot if we get a nice lady AI for Arthur, since he kind of seemed to want one. And obviously it seems like Michelle Vizard feels a little something for Gage, as we saw in the ending cutscene, but I don't know if that would ever be developed. But Oh, I love this series so much. But this also kind of explains what I was mentioning earlier with the Sorolans and their sensitivity to space-time. Because we can see both the Sorolans and the Quaffala are kind of the same species. I mean, they're different, but they very, very clearly have an evolutionary origin. Kind of think of the Romulans and the Vulcans from Star Trek, so to speak. And perhaps at one point, they did have like a war on their planet, and the Quaffala left, and then the Sorolans forgot about them until they were fighting. I suspect the Quaffala didn't forget, and that's why they were so hostile to the Sorolans. And that's probably why they had encounter suits to kind of hide their origins, because you can see the look on the Sorolans' faces. They were shocked, even though they fought 3 wars with these people. But, be right back. There we go, I'm back. Sorry about that. But yeah, they fought 3 wars with them, and they didn't even know who they were really fighting. So that shows there's a lot of utility to encounter suits. We can discuss that another time. But yeah, so I suspect in the 4th game, the Kryn must have developed or somehow acquired time travel technology. Waited. I mean, they must have known or at least suspected the TSA had a monitoring system. That's how Gage was kind of able to catch some. So they probably developed their own, kept an eye on, TSA agents, because they're supposed to be stationed through history to respond to a temporal crisis. And they must have launched an assault that killed off all the agents at their stations. And because if they just went and changed history, well, then they know agents would come, and maybe they simply planted an ambush. And then for whatever reason, Gage somehow doesn't get caught up with this or manages to avoid being killed, which I assume the Kryn would have made him a priority target because of what he did. And then Gage probably gets the last functioning jumpsuit and probably Arthur's chameleon suit, which would be the one they probably couldn't track, and he has to go into the past and fix things without bloodshed, as he always does. Or maybe he would make his first kill, who knows. But that's kind of what I suspect the story for 4 would be. But yeah, we see the Sorolans and the Quaffala share a lineage. So that kind of explains things. And we can tell the Sosequi also kind of knew all this would happen too. I mean, they had the power of time, matter, and life. And we saw that the time artifact was giving El Dorado the ability to see into the future, to see events that hadn't happened yet, which implies they also had that ability. The TSA, obviously, if they do have that ability, which I don't know if they do, but if they do, they probably don't use it because A, you can't bring knowledge from the future back because that would change the timeline. And B, it's an incredibly risky thing to do. It's hard enough to jump back into time when you actually have records of what things are, where they were. You imagine jumping into the future thinking, oh, I'm going to see what this government building looks like, and then finding yourself entrapped in concrete because, oops, they paved over it all, or something like that. But yeah, I love this series very much. I might, if there's one series I would do a video essay on, it would be this series. That would be a huge project. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it either, because I certainly have a lot more thoughts that I can fit in here in the time I have left to me. But God, I just love this series so much, and I do want to play through it again, just because now I think I finally got like all my software figured out and DaVinci figured out, and I think I can do a much better, much higher quality playthrough the next time through. But and of course I have so many more thoughts to share that I routinely forget and then or don't think of, and then think of when I'm trying to fall asleep to bed, because it has been more than a couple nights where I've spent hours thinking about this series when I'm trying to go to sleep. So I love it so much. So to the devs of all 4 games, thank you very much. These games were my childhood, some more than others, but some I didn't play until later, like obviously Pegasus Prime wasn't until, I don't know, a decade ago now. It's been a little while since they released that on PC and GOG and Steam. But yeah, Buried in Time, Journeyman Project Turbo, and Legacy of Time I all played in the 90s, early 2000s. Excuse me. Buried in Time was my white whale for a while because we had the discs and I was a stupid kid and broke them. And so I got the Legacy of Time collection. This was, I think, a while after Legacy of Time came out, where you could get the whole series in one package. You know, it was Journeyman Project Turbo, Buried in Time, Legacy of Time. And this was a while even after this package came out, because we get it and I find out, oh, disc 2 is a copy of disc 1 or something like that for Buried in Time. And we go online and find out, oops, they had a printing error and you were able to get your discs replaced, but we had bought it well after that period. So Buried in Time was still elusive to me, and at that point I'd only completed 2 of the 4 time zones as a kid. So it was my white whale for a while, and got it from the internet in other ways. And then now it's available on GOG and such, so I love the series so much, but I think we'll leave it there for tonight. So with that, thank you all for watching. Thank you for indulging me as I relive my childhood. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you then.